The Mongoose has the capability of step firing, manual firing, and also script firing. In this video, we're going to demonstrate a quick step fire, and then we're going to go through what group fire is and how to program group fire onto your Mongoose. So as a refresher, step fire allows you to fire from the first cue to the last cue simply by pushing the same button over and over again. In this example, we have one 3S4 with 4 cues. Every time I push the button, a subsequent cue will fire. Here we have an FW32. It detects 32 cues, and the same principle applies. Every time I push the trigger, a subsequent cue will fire. As you can see, step fire works fantastic if you only want to fire step on one module at a time. But let's assume you want to fire step on multiple modules at the same time. In this particular situation, this is precisely what you'd use group function for. In this demonstration, I have three 3S4s, and I want to step from cues 1, 2, 3, and 4 on module 1, 5, 6, 7, and 8 on module 2, and 9, 10, and 11, and 12 on module 3. Every time I press the trigger, the cues will fire in your programmed group. In the last example, I demonstrated going in order from module 1 to module 2 to module 3 and firing all the cues in order. However, you don't have to go in order. This particular group function allows you to jump around to different modules. As a matter of fact, you can even add in different sequences into your group function. So for the next example, what we're going to do is we're going to decide to fire on module 1, cues 1 and 2. Then we'll jump to module 2 and fire cues 1 and 2. Then we'll jump back to module 1, fire cues 3 and 4. Then fire back to module 2, fire cues 3 and 4. And finally, bump to module 3 and fire cues 1 through 4. The first step will be to push and hold the group button for about 7 seconds. After 7 seconds, a new menu will appear on your LED screen with the group setup. The very first line shows button programming, and this is the screen that you'll want. Simply press go, which will lock in that programming setup. The first thing it'll ask is what button or step you want to start with. We'll want to start with 1. You can see all 40 buttons are now lit up. We want to select the very first button, which will be the very first step. As soon as you press 1, a new line shows up on your screen. Now it wants to know what module you want to start with. We'll start with module 1 and then move to module 2. So simply push button 1 and then push go. After you press go, a new line will show up in your window, and it'll ask if you want to select it as a cue or a sequence. Since we want a cue, we'll simply press the illuminated cue button to lock in a cue. This is a photo of the illuminated cue button being pressed. As soon as you press cue, a new menu will show up. This time, it's going to actually ask you what cue you want to fire. Since we want to fire cue 1 on module 1 first, you simply push 1. As soon as you press 1, a new menu selection pops up. As you can see, it wants you to confirm your choice, By pressing the left arrow, you lock your choice in. By pressing the right arrow, you disregard your choice. After you've confirmed your selection, you're going to continue programming your user-defined group program. Start by pressing Group. All of your program buttons are now illuminated. We're going to fire 1 and 2 on Module 1, 1 and 2 on Module 2, 3 and 4 on Module 1, 3 and 4 on Module 2, and 1, 2, 3, and 4 on Module 3.